welcome. It's great to be in the Low Country, and we are continuing to work every day to bring together conservatives. What we're seeing happening here in the state of South Carolina is we're seeing that old Reagan coalition coming together. We're seeing conservatives and evangelicals and libertarians and young people and Reagan Democrats all standing together. The challenges facing our country are enormous. You know, last night at the debate, I think the people of South Carolina really focused on the gravity of this election with Justice Scalia's passing. It's become clear now that not one but two branches of government hang in the balance. And if you value your constitutional rights, if you value religious liberty, if you value life and marriage and the Second Amendment, then this election matters. And one of the most important determinations the men and women of South Carolina will make of the 6 individuals standing on that stage is, who do you trust to nominate Supreme Court justices who will be faithful to the Constitution, who will defend the Bill of Rights, who will not legislate from the bench but instead follow the proper role of a judge, of leaving the authority over public policy issues to the people. I've spent my entire adult life fighting to defend the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. And I could not be more encouraged by the conservatives, the evangelicals, the grassroots activists that are unifying behind that campaign. If conservatives stand together, we're going to win.
Questions?
Questions?
Senator, do you have anybody specific in mind who you think might make a good candidate to be the next Supreme Court Justice?
You know, I believe that the next president should fill this vacancy. For the last 80 years, there have been no nominees nominated in an election year and confirmed in an election year. The Senate has not confirmed lame duck nominees. And particularly Justice Scalia's role on the Supreme Court was unique. As Ronald Reagan was to the presidency, so Justice Scalia was to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is poised 5-4. This nomination could make a pivotal difference changing this court, and I believe the election should decide which direction the court changes. I think 2016 should be an election on the U.S. Supreme Court, a referendum on the U.S. Supreme Court, and I look forward to standing on that debate stage with Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders and presenting a clear choice, a clear option. I don't think the Democrats share the vision of the American people in terms of the direction for the Supreme Court, and it should be the American people who decide, do we want a Supreme Court that honors life, that protects the right to life? Do we want a Supreme Court that honors marriage, that doesn't tear down the marriage laws of the 50 states? Do we want a Supreme Court that protects religious liberty, the first liberty in the very First Amendment to the Bill of Rights? Do we want a Supreme Court that honors and enforces the Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms? Or do we want what we will get with one more liberal justice? One more liberal justice and the Second Amendment will be effectively written out of the Constitution. One more liberal justice and the court will strike down every restriction on abortion, mandating unlimited abortion on demand, including partial birth abortion, with taxpayer funding and no parental notification. One more liberal justice, and we will see our religious liberty fundamentally undermined. We will see displays of the Ten Commandments torn down across this country. We'll see veterans' memorials torn down across this country. We are not far from seeing the chisels come out to remove the crosses and stars of David from the tombstones of our fallen soldiers. I don't believe the American people want to go down that direction. That's why we have an election. And I will say, Justice Scalia's passing also underscores the seriousness of the Republican nomination. If you look at the candidates on that stage, only one candidate has spent his entire adult life fighting to defend the Constitution, fighting to defend the Bill of Rights. Donald Trump, someone I like personally, but his entire adult life, he has been a liberal. His entire adult life, he has described himself as very, very pro-choice. He has supported partial birth abortion. He has supported liberal Democrats his entire adult life, from Jimmy Carter to Hillary Clinton to Chuck Schumer to Harry Reid to John Kerry. And if Donald Trump becomes president, we will see the Second Amendment effectively erased from the Bill of Rights, because one more liberal justice will erase the Second Amendment from the Bill of Rights, and Donald Trump's entire lifetime demonstrates that he will not spend the political capital it will take to nominate and confirm a proven constitutional conservative. If I'm elected president, every justice that I nominate to the court will be a proven constitutional conservative who will remain faithful to the laws and will not use the bench to tear down our values, to tear down the Judeo-Christian values that built this nation, to tear down the basic institutions of family that are so under attack right now from Washington.
Now, it's still a lengthy year ahead, and the president has made his claim he will do his best. You know, the budget probably not going to work out in his favor. There's one last-ditch effort, maybe trying to get this justice on there. If there is somehow a requirement for you to go back to Washington and be a part of a vote to oppose that, will you and also ask your other opponents to make that move?
I have called on the Senate not to take up and not to confirm any nominee. You're right, President Obama almost surely will play politics and attempt to nominate someone for this position.